Okay, yeah. So I'm gonna make this video real fast for anybody who may watch it. And thank you for supporting my videos. I appreciate it. I wanted to make this video really fast because I'm getting ready to go down in T-Mobile. I live in Prague, man. So T-Mobile is like a really good cell phone service here. But in the US, like people know T-Mobile is like not very, I mean, depending on where you are, T-Mobile is not very respected, blah, blah, blah. But I gotta go T-Mobile, T-Mobile and check on my phone bill. But I wanted to make this video real quick because I just came home to eat something real fast. And I was watching this comic, this comedian, this dude, like, now I don't know, I'm assuming all this is true because he looked really depressed and blah, blah. And he's 30, he said he was 37, man. And he was just like pretty much just completely just failing at life. Like, and the one thing I want to make clear, and I want to make this 100% clear, because the dude's 37, I'm 33. I want to make this clear, man. See, what I've learned in traveling and working on myself and doing things in life is this, man. See, as a man, what I've learned is it is up to you to become happy with yourself and do something about yourself. And your views on you are purely out of your own head. Your assumptions about you, when you start don't fall into the world of like comparing yourself to others. Like, because the second you start comparing yourself to others, you will never be good enough. Okay. You have to just let that go and just do whatever you can do that is gonna make you feel like you're at least complete in some way. Because like I said, as a man, for the rest, okay, like I say this in another video, as a man in our life, I've said as a man like 15 times now, but pretty much after 25, um, your success in relation to the world, and if you're worried about how the world's going to view you, can jump radically on from one phone call to the next. Okay, so you have to get to a point within yourself to be happy with yourself. Because if you keep like this comedian, I don't, like I said, it could have been a total act, but I don't think it was an act. I think it was a bit. I think there was a lot of truth in what he was saying. It was sad. It was something. It was on. I think it was Comedy Central. A guy, he explains what it's like to be 37. Maybe like if you want to go check it out. It was something along the lines of what's life like at 37, or what's life like single at 37, or something like that. And I want to talk to him, man. Like, if that was real, which it probably was, I want to talk to him, like, and tell him, as a man, like, you are responsible for you. And and most guys, he was going on about, he had a divorce, and girls didn't like him or whatever. He was bad at sex. Look, God, that is so brutal, man. Because I've never looked at my life like. I lived in homeless shelters, and I lived in $1 million houses. I've never like had that undertone of self pity and depression about myself. Like, oh, I'm just the worst. I've never. If anything, when I thought about my life, it was, how do I get out of this mess? That was it. It was never, oh, I'm just the. Well, I think that is a big jump in a mentality of a person, like, to want to either think, oh, I'm just the worst, or, okay, I'm in a mess. How do I get out of it? I think those are two completely different types of people. And it sounds like, from what he's talking about and from what I hear a lot of other guys talk like, I think a lot of guys, they'll get so focused on themselves being so bad, and it turns into, oh, I'm just the worst. Like, no, man, like, be okay. I say this, man, accept being the worst. Just accept it. Okay, be the worst at it. Now, dig your way out of it. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's nothing wrong with being the worst. It's nothing wrong with that. I'm like, and because if anything, okay, the reality of being the worst is this: when you go out and be the worst at something, right? You are still winning, because you're learning what it's like. You're learning how it is to deal with being the worst. You see what I'm saying? Like, you are still learning, even when you're the worst at something. You're learning that whole time. And slowly but surely, you'll start putting it together and start growing. Like, watch, with anything you do, slowly but surely, it doesn't matter what it is. You'll start putting piece to piece together, like, oh, and then you'll start to grow out of it. You see, God, like I don't even like. I've never been that type of guy for real. Because like I was always the type who would kind of explore new things and then be worse and then learn how to get good at it. So like I've never been that type of guy who just like really. I've never been that type of guy who just settled that deeply into not being good at something to where like I just convinced myself I wasn't good at it and just, and accepted it and sat there in it and just wallowed in it. I've never been that type of guy, man. Like I've just never been that type. And I was, like I said, I'm only 5'7" or 170 centimeters. I'm not a tall guy. You could tell I'm not like a very muscular guy. I've never been that type of guy who just accepted being. I always went back out and tried again, even when my growth was probably slower than others. I still got back up and went out and tried again. I never just. I don't remember a time I ever did that. So man, so what I'm trying to say to you is this, man. Like, it is okay to suck at something. It is okay. If anything, okay. In my opinion, you want to go find things to suck at, because see, when you find things to suck at, like I said, you're learning how to deal with being bad at something, and then you're learning new skills along the way. And how life works is this. Let's say if you're good at putting like juice in this bottle, right? And juice in this juice bottle, and then you get a job putting cologne in cologne bottles. Well, you take that little bit that you learned from this and then put it with this, and now you done came up with a whole new method of doing something else. You see what I'm saying? Like there is always growth. No matter what you do, there is growth to be had in everything. There's growth to be had in getting knocked out. If someone just cold clocks you and punches you, well, now you know what it feels like to get knocked out. So the next time you ain't scared. You're not as scared anymore. You see what I'm saying? Like there is, no matter what bad you end up in, there is always some form of growth that you can grab onto and grow off of, no matter what it is, man. So what I'm telling you is this. You have to find this within yourself. And I think a big mistake that especially younger men make, and I'm sure I probably did at some point. Okay, a woman is not going to fix you. Okay, a woman is not going to cure your loneliness. A woman is not going to fix your sadness. I mean, sometimes they can help, but ultimately it's within you. Like sometimes they can help, like, they can, be a nice accessory in the method of fixing something, but ultimately it's within you. Okay. So I say like one of the top 5 things I would say is do not put a savior in the form of a woman as in your life, because that is just a total. Honestly, I think that's just a total wrong way to go about it, man. That's it. That is it. And look, there's nothing wrong with being single. Because like the comedian, like because I've heard guys like him talk before, man. Like there is nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with being single, or dating around, or for instance, let's say like if you're just asking women on dates and you just go on a cold streak. Everybody goes on cold streaks, from the most beautiful women to the ugliest of men. They all can look back and think of a time when they went on a cold streak. I think the Mila Kunis girl that played in that '70s show, I think she went on like a 5 or 10 year streak where like no guy ever asked her out, and then she ended up marrying the Ashton Kutcher dude. Like everybody goes through these things, man. Like no matter, okay, remember this: no matter how bad of a situation you end up in, there is somebody else out there who's been in just as bad situation or worse, and they made it out. Okay. The hard part, I think, is to find these people and then kind of get that, because it's just human nature. Like we humans, we do need validation by a group or a pack or another person. Like it's just human nature. We need that. So I think a hard part is finding someone else with that specific issue. Like my issue right now is living in another country, coming from the Midwest of America. And I ended up meeting a friend who he's actually from a state beneath mine. So we get along like that. Like we click like instant with music, thoughts about things here. Like we get each other. But like I said, before I met him, I was really alone in being here, as far as like the culture differences go. So after I met him, like I felt more comfortable because I felt someone who knew, who knew at least a bit of where I came from in life, and we probably went down the same streets before, and now we're almost on the other side of the world now, and dealing with this culture. But man, like back to the original topic with the motivation, man, like it's within you. Like I say in previous videos, if I had to choose between knowing what I know now in life, and I'm being 1,000% honest, knowing what I know now in life, if I had to choose, like let's say if you could take my brain out and I had to choose to either put my brain in a 40-year-old virgin's body who's never left the home, who's never left his mom's basement, and he's gross, the place is nasty, or you pick my brain up and stick it in Nicole Scherzinger, like a 40-year-old successful woman, and put it in her brain, I will pick the 40-year-old virgin. Because like as a man, I said this before, as a man, you can always fix it. You can always fix your life. You can all it is, it's really dependent on you at the core. It's dependent on you and what you're willing to do to fight to get what you want to do. So like I said, because a woman's biological reasonings for being alive, her applicable uses, is like, well, by the time they end up like Nicole Scherzinger, she like that woman's gonna die alone with $1,000 Gucci shoes, and she's miserable her entire life, and it'll never get better. It's going to constantly get worse. Like I say in another video, see, a woman's life, it's front loaded from 0 to 30. After 30, 0 to about 30. After 30, it's just completely downhill after that. There's no upside to it. Not downhill. Well, I'd say it completely spirals downward after that. There is very few going ups after this. When you end up like women like Nicole Scherzingers, the 40, 45 successful women, their applicable use has passed, and they can never go back and do it again. But you as a man, it's all on you, man. You can always get back out there and fix it. It might be a rough road, it may be not a comfortable road, but you can always do it. I know a buddy of mine right now, I think he's like 50, and he was living in a 1-bedroom apartment for like a couple years, man. And he got a job. Now he's living in this big, beautiful house in Southern America. Like big, beautiful. He showed me the pictures of it. I was like, man, that is a mansion. Like he's like, yeah, he was sleeping on like a small 1-bedroom apartment for years, man. He got a job, and I guarantee you, the quality of living is gonna go right up there with it. Now on the flip side, like Nicole Scherzinger, she can do it, but see, like that, she ain't work. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't work the same way. But what I'm trying to say to you is this, man, like. You have it's up to you. Your life is up to you.